Additionally, I have imposed or decided to impose an additional consideration of condition of the community control. The defendant is ordered to make all reasonable efforts to avoid impregnating a woman during the community control period or until such time the defendant can prove to this court that he's able to provide support for his children that he already has and is in fact supporting the children, or until a change in conditions warrant the lifting of this condition. This condition of community control is related to the interests of justice, rehabilitating the offender, and the court finds that is reasonably related to rehabilitating the offender, has some relationship to the crimes of which the offender was convicted, in other words, 4 counts of non-supported dependence, and relates to the conduct which is criminally or reasonably related to future criminality and serves the statutory ends of the community control. Violation of any of these sanctions shall lead to a more restrictive sanction, a longer sanction, or a prison term. Count 1 of each of the 4 cases, you're sentenced to 12 months at LCI. It's hereby imposed but suspended. The suspended prison sentence will be imposed if the defendant fails to report and or follow all the terms and conditions of the community control sanctions. The court finds that these sentences are to run concurrent to one another, so it's as if it's one 12-month sentence. Do you want more children that you can't pay for, sir?
I think that's an unfair question at this point.
All right,
Well,
I won't make him answer that question.
But the other part that we get into there
I read of another case just recently that was in Wisconsin where a judge handed down a similar order, and the person had 9 kids. And I don't understand why somebody would want 5 or 6 or 7 children that they can't pay for when they can't pay for 1, 2, 3, or 4 kids that they already have. This is a matter of common sense and personal responsibility, and he's personally responsible, and we haven't gotten any payments in a year.
But the court can't dictate common sense and personal responsibility.
Yes, I can. Yes, we can dictate personal responsibility, and there are a lot of freedoms that we all enjoy. We enjoy the freedom of assembly under the First Amendment, but he's not free to go and assemble with felons or persons that are in prisons. We enjoy the right to, under the Second Amendment, to keep and bear arms. He's not allowed to have firearms.
Those are reasonably related to his conditions of probation.
So is this.
No, it's not, Your Honor. And the reason that it's not is he's not being charged with having kids, Your Honor.
He's being charged with not being able to provide for them.
So what's the crime? The providing for them or the having of them?
Well, if he has another, how is he going to provide for that one when he can't provide for the 4 that he already has? Just prove to me that he can provide for the 4 that he already has.
So if he gets married and has a child with somebody and they're living with him, there's no child support order. He's just broken probation, Your Honor.
Possibly.
And so where you're putting it is you're saying, if you have money, you can have children. If you don't have money, you can't have children. That's essentially what this order is boiled down to.
No, this is a condition of a community control for which he has been found guilty by this court.
And even with the language that you've added, it still says, if you have money, you can have kids. If you don't have money, you can't.
No, that's not what it says.
Your Honor, in essence, not even in essence, that's exactly what the language that you've added since the last time I've seen this order goes specifically to his wealth or lack thereof.
No, I just named a whole bunch of different ways that the conditions might be, some of the conditions might be lifted.
Understood, Your Honor. But again, he has to operate for the next 5 years under this condition. Okay? And it oversteps into his bedroom with regards to his relations. It's basically telling you the only way that you can for sure comply with this is to be abstinent.
And once again, I understand that you're wanting to protect his rights, and I'm interested in his rights also.
Sure.
But what we're here today is talk about his responsibility. Everyone wants to talk about rights without ever bringing up the subject of responsibility. And that's what this is about, personal responsibility.
That is correct, Your Honor.
So, and I could go through all the rest of the things.
But has the court interviewed all 4 mothers of these children? Do we know if he's supporting them outside of the order that's been put on here, Your Honor?
Okay, then I will address that, sir. If you are supporting your children outside of what the child support order, then I ask you to stop doing that now and send your support directly to the Child Support Enforcement Agency. here is a sheet, Mr. Merrill, I'm gonna give this to the defendant, is all the ways that he can legally pay his child support, either in this building, at the CSEA, or the Child Support Enforcement Agency Collection Payment Center down in Columbus. Those are the legal ways for which he can pay for his children. That same argument has been addressed to me numerous times where somebody says, I'm paying for my child because I bought them X or bought diapers or bought milk and bread. And I ask them, although once again laudable that they do that, in order for them to be current on their child support, the best way to do that is to pay it through not the best way, the only way to do that is to pay it through the Child Support Enforcement Agency. And I might note, once again, we have not received any payments, yet the PSI indicates that he's at least out there earning some money, he has some job somewhere, or is doing some kind of work, for once again, we are not receiving anything. And I say that that's a failure of personal responsibility. You, sir, you are not the worst of the worst that I've seen. I have seen worse, but you were the first of this type of order. And I thought long and hard about this. And I've reviewed a lot of case law, and Mr. Merrill's provided me with some case law, and I've reviewed that. So your objections are noted for the record. Anything else? Anything from the prosecutor?